Hi, this is Jody Fisher. I'm the guitar department chair here at the Lama College for Music Professionals in Los Angeles, California. I'm here today with another quick tip for you, and this one's for you guys that have been playing for a while. Let's say you've been playing jazz and you're building a nice chord vocabulary, but sometimes you just don't have enough altered dominant chords. And what I like to do is show you very quick and easy ways to build your chord vocabulary. So the topic we're going to be talking about is symmetrical chord movement. And the topic is pretty deep, but I'm going to show you something today that's pretty immediate and you'll be able to start using right away. It may take years before you master all the theory behind it, but it's something you'll be able to use immediately. So this chord vocabulary builder deals with altered dominant chords. These are dominant chords, in this case, with altered fifths, meaning a sharp 5 or a flat 5. So let's say we took a chord like this, which is C7 flat 5. Okay, the spelling of this chord is E, which is the third, B flat, which is the flat 7, C, which is the root, and G, which is the flat 5. Okay, it's a common chord, and we use them all the time in 2-5-1 progressions and other areas as well. So a funny thing happens when you take altered dominant chords with altered fifths and move them around in whole steps. It turns out when you do that, it remains an altered dominant chord from the same root. Now the actual alterations will change, but it's a real cool way to build a huge altered chord vocabulary. So I'm going to take this C7 flat 5, there it is, and I'm going to move it up 2 frets, okay, whole step. So now I have a G flat, a C, a D, and a G sharp. Okay, so I could call this chord, a funny name, I might be able to call this C9 sharp 5 flat 5. And that's technically correct, but generally when there are 2 fifths, 1 flat, 1 sharp, we will call the sharp 5 a flat 13 instead. Okay, so I'm going to call this chord now C9 flat 5 flat 13. And when you have chords like this, it's nice to play the root with it just so you know what it sounds like, so you're not surprised when you play this with a bass player someday. Alright, now I'm going to move it up 1 more. And now I've got a sharp 5 on the bottom, G sharp. I've got the 9th right here. I've got the 3rd here and the flat 7. So I'm going to call this a C9 sharp 5. Here it is with a root. Okay, and so we're still C dominant chords here. Let's move it up again. Now we have flat 7, 3, flat 5, and root. So we're back to a C7 flat 5 again. I'm going to move it up another whole step. Now I've got the root, I've got the flat 5, I've got the sharp 5, but we'll call it a flat 13, and the 9. So once again, I have a C dominant with a flat 5 and a flat 13 in it. I'm going to move it up again. Now I've got the 9th on the bottom, the sharp 5 right here, the flat 7 here, and the 3rd. So now I have a C9 sharp 5 once again. If I move it up 1 more time, a whole step, we're back to the original chord, the C7 flat 5, an octave higher than this. Okay? Now, it's very useful for a lot of reasons. Now, some people think, well, okay, this is theoretically correct, but does it sound good? Yes, these sound really good, actually. If I considered each one of these chords a 5 chord, meaning the 5 chord in the key of F, I could use these for 2-5-1 progressions. So I'll use each one of them here for you to show you what they look like and what they sound like. So the 2 chord in F is G minor 7. So there's my 2, here's my 5, and here's my 1, F major 6. Okay, so that sounds good. Okay, now I'm going to take that 5 chord, move it up here. So I think I'll use the same 2 chord again, right here. Here's my 5, and now my 1, F major 7. Okay, let's try another one, this chord. So here's my 2, G minor 7, my altered C chord, and then F major 7. All right, I'll use the same 2 chord, 5, C7 flat 5 again, and then F major 6, 9. All right, let's try it again. Let's try G minor 7. Here's my C9 with a flat 5 and a flat 13, and 1. Okay, so that was And if I go one more here, I can go 2, 5, 1. Okay, so it's quite useful. Now there's one more thing you want to think about, and that is, in any of these chords, any of the notes in the chord can be considered the root. And then guess what? They become other altered dominant chords, and you can move those around again in whole steps. So this time I'm going to stay using this shape right here, C7 flat 5, but I'm going to consider the B flat the root this time. So this puts me in the key of E flat. Okay, that's the 5 chord in E flat. So my 2 chord is F minor 7, and here's my 5, and then 1, E flat. Okay. Now I'm going to take the E and consider that the root. Now E is the 5 chord in the key of A. So a 2, 5, 1 in that key would be B minor 7, and then our 5, our E dominant, and then A. So that sounded pretty good too. All right, let's try the G flat. G flat is the 5 chord in the key of B. And so our 2 chords going to be C sharp minor 7, and then our 5, and then B flat, or B natural. Okay, there you go. So it has multiple uses, and this works for every 7 flat 5 chord. And if you experiment further, you're going to find it works for 7 sharp 5 chords just as well. And if you want to take just 9th chords, but there's one qualification: if you use a 9th chord and move it around in whole steps, you can't have a 5th in it. Okay, so like in other words, this is root 3, flat 7, and 9. Okay, and if I move it up here, now I have the 9, the flat 5, the root, and the 3rd, etc. So it's 7 flat 5s, 7 sharp 5s, and 9th chords without 5ths. Move them around in whole steps, and you have built a huge altered chord vocabulary pretty painlessly. Have a good time with that.